Hi, Devon. Hope you well, Devon.
I'm all good and you?
All right, man. Obviously, you guys must be much happier this week after the weekend's result. It almost seemed like you guys regained your shape in terms of your attacking shape this weekend. What do you think was the difference? What could you say was the difference between this game and the previous one against the Sharks?
Yeah, I think it's never never easy losing. So there'll always be a fight back after a loss. But yeah, it's difficult to say what went wrong. Obviously, looking back at the game of the Sharks, like we were in full control of the game. Had three yellow cards, but there's just yeah no explanation for how things went haywire.
We had a chat with Grobbies last week, and I joked with him that because the forwards dominated so much against the Sharks, maybe they must just keep the ball and not give the backs any ball. He didn't agree with that fully, but I mean, in terms of the back line, you guys really came to the party against the Lions. Scored some wonderful tries. You yourself, some lovely line breaks here, showing that you've lost none of the pace that you had when you started at Western Province and Piniel.
Yeah, I think as a backline, we said obviously let the forwards down in certain areas of the game. And then beforehand made a commitment to each other that obviously to express ourselves again.
And is it the case of sometimes the forwards dominate so much that the team, not saying you guys as the backs particularly, but the team sometimes over rely on that and think that will just get the job done instead of actually looking what's in front of you. Because I think one of the guys last week said, yeah, when you get a penalty advantage, mustn't be a case of just throwing the ball away. You must actually do something with the ball, even when you have a penalty advantage. And you guys definitely did that against the Lions.
Yeah, obviously everyone knows we forward dominant. Our back is very strong, obviously scrum wise and line out wise, ball wise. So it's just a case of getting the balance right of when to pull the trigger. Sometimes we pull the trigger, but then try something off the cuff instead of sticking to the plan we set up beforehand. So I think it's just to complement each other.
And just finally from me, Devon, Stormers this weekend, always a big game against them, and you guys pulled off the win, was very tight in Cape Town. And for you personally, also always a big game, having played for that franchise and province and coming from the Western Cape. How are you seeing Saturday's game?
Yeah, I think it's the same as any derby. It's gonna be massive. I think for us also playing three derbies or four now actually in a row doesn't do the body any favors. So obviously it's gonna be a big match. There's a lot of history behind this. So yeah, looking forward to what's gonna come over the weekend.
Cool, thanks. Good luck.
Thank you.
Devon, thanks a lot for the opportunity. Maybe a little bit on Ashfaq also. Uh, very few of us has played where you guys are playing at the level. How difficult is it if the Stormers comes out and they dominate the first 15 minutes? How difficult is it to claw your way back into the game?
Yeah, I always feel like rugby is a game of momentum. It's never going to be 80 minutes on your side. So obviously, if they come out of the bang, it's how we handle that pressure. And then obviously, momentum has to swing somewhere in the game. And then obviously, when momentum comes to our side, it's how we manage that momentum and obviously to capitalize on it.
So, how big a part does the preparation of a game play in you guys handling the momentum and the change of momentum?
Yeah, obviously, both sides prep. I mean, if you had a bad game over the weekend, then obviously we prep for to change it into a positive. And obviously, they do the same. So they look at what we do, we look at what they do. And obviously, we set out the game plan, but obviously, on the day, things might change and they might come up with a surprise play or something like that. So obviously, just to go out and adapt. And then obviously, our games, I must take control of the game.
Last question also on that is how difficult is it to control your emotion? Like you said, if you lose, you want to do a lot better the next game. And how difficult is it to control your emotion in order not to affect your performance on the field?
Yeah, I think the mental game is something people always overlook. So I feel like personally, to bounce back is just to stay calm, stick to your procedures, and yeah, go out and just express yourself in what you know you can do, and not to yeah try and prove a point, if I can put it like that.
Appreciate it, sir.
Thank you.
Hi, Devon. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, thanks. Just trying a new mic. So obviously, the first game against the Stormers, scrumming played a big role, but there were a lot of mistakes that let them back into the game. And in the end, goal kicking proved very important. What are some of the key facets of this game people are talking about, or what do you think is going to play a big role this coming weekend?
Yeah, I think, like I said, they know we full dominant, so obviously they're gonna focus on how they can stop our scrum and more. I think on their side, obviously looking at the Sharks game, they will see that we struggled a bit under the eyeball during the game. So maybe that's a facet of play where they will try and target us. Yeah, otherwise, probably they're going to look at making the game fast, stuff like that. So yeah, I think both teams knows where and what they have to do to get out on top over the weekend.
Thank you.
Hi, Devon. Hope you well.
I'm good on you.
Good, thank you. Just to ask, how disappointed were you that you weren't called up to the Bok alignment camp? And do you feel that with how you have been playing, you are quite close to being called up?
I think it's a difficult question to answer. Like you don't know what the selectors at the Springboks are thinking. So for me, it's just to go out and enjoy my rugby, go out and express myself, and obviously do good for the team. And then, like obviously, our team has been doing well, so 17 guys been called up, and then yeah, everyone's happy for them.
Thank you.
Hi, Devon. Coach Jake White has spoken quite a bit about the 4 derbies in a row and how tough that is. And maybe that's from a coach's perspective, that he feels a lot of pressure. Do you as players also feel that there's more pressure, playing these derbies? We know they're always big games, a lot of expectation from South African fans. Do you feel there's more pressure on you with all of these derbies in a row?
Personally, and I think from a team's perspective, maybe as well, I don't think there's more pressure because it's just another 80 minutes. Obviously, there's a derby behind it, but it's just another game. I mean, if you play a Leinster and then Glasgow, whatever, that we can also label that as derby scores. Obviously, they also the leading runners currently in the competition. But obviously, from a player's perspective, playing the derbies is always harder than playing the overseas teams.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, because obviously we know each other. As guys playing with each other in the Springbok team as well, so everyone knows a little bit more about the opposition than obviously the international teams, and obviously it's much more personal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just check? We all good? No follow-up questions? I think we all.
Can I have one more, Lunga?
The fifth one, Ashwan. Okay.
No, I mean, I must speak to my man from Pinel there, I must keep it going. Devon, you're now on the other side of 30, but you're still looking full of running and yeah, performing for the Bulls there. Are you still for one of the fastest guys in the Bull squad now, especially with Kirtley not there?
Yeah, I would think so. I would hope so. Obviously, my pace is something that I back, so yeah, I would definitely put my hand up to be one of the fastest here still.
And just finally, would Villiers fly off? A lot has been said about Villiers, and Jake spoke a lot as well. It just seemed like he got the mix right against the Lions in terms of when to play it wide, when to go for a kick or short pass. Do you feel that you guys, as a whole backline now, are adjusting better now to Villiers and things are working better?
Yeah, I think I'll refer to myself. I mean, when I played with the Pumas, moving to fly off, it wasn't the easiest move, and I think people don't give him enough credit. Moving from 15 to fly off on this level, it's just not an overnight thing. And obviously, I also got asked the question a lot of what I think of William 10, and I back him all the way. That's just the more he plays it, the more confidence he will get, and then obviously get the mix right.
Okay, cool. Thanks, man.
Cool. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Devon. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Lou.